Howdy. For the mini project 2, I chose to create my own metaverse. Um, Last year, my freshman experience class decided they wanted to learn a lot about traditions on campus. And so I thought, well, I'll use this opportunity to build that metaverse experience for them and let them experience traditions through AR. So the first thing I did was name my metaverse, and in this case, I did Aggie Traditions Experience. The first scene is just something a little fun. I'm asking them to choose what their favorite logo is. Both are block T formations, but one's a maroon background with white letters, the other's maroon letters with no block. So I created the scene first, created the buttons, and then I went in and chose the block to record the vote because I wanted them to be able to see how the vote goes in the class. Right now, you can see where I've tried both to make sure both buttons work. So that's just me there. And then you can see where, I push these buttons to where they're going to go to the next scene. In the next scene, I went ahead and built the different traditions, and I did Aggie Terminology, Bonfire Memorial, Aggie Band, and Reveille. And then I put a finished button on there as well, just in case somebody at some point clicked the wrong button and it brought them back here to this categories scene. And then they could finish, and then this is going to take them to the end experience at the very end. So the first one is just Aggie Terminology, and as you can see, then it's going to route, this button is going to route to this scene, and there's 5 different Aggie terms that they can click on, and you can see how I laid each one of them out. This ended up being a lot content heavy, and so that's one of the things that I worry about, like how interactive is this? I mean, they're still pushing buttons and they're learning about traditions. I think it's going to be okay. But you can see as I scroll through, there's each of these terms are going to be on these screens. And at the bottom of each one, I have return to Aggie Terminology because you got to return here to click on the next term to get to that screen and until they go through all of them. And as you can see, the very last one, the whoop, and this is going to be return to Aggie tradition categories. And so these are going to return to the terminology. This is going to go back to the categories, which is this. And so the next category, and there's no particular order that they have to essentially click in them, but then I'll just go to the Aggie Band one because I know that one's next. And so here I just talked a little bit about the marching band, and then it can either be routed to a YouTube video or you can skip the YouTube video and go back to the Aggie Traditions category to pick another category. So the next one is the Bonfire Memorial, and they'll go down, it'll be routed to this scene. In which case I just have next because I felt like this was really important information for them to learn about. So instead of going back, there's no need to go back to the categories screen just to get here. So they click next, and then here, I chose 2 buttons on this one. This one doesn't get routed anywhere. It's just that tradition that we will never forget. And so I thought that was important to really put there and really drive that home. If they click here, it's going to take them back to, again, the Aggie Traditions. And then they'll pick the last one, which is Reveille. Or they could finish and choose to end the experience. None of these are required. I don't think there's a way to require these in any way. And so here's Reveille, and again, I just put a next button at the bottom that's going to route them to the next screen. And then here, if next, if done with all categories, and then if they are finished, they're going to be routed to what is your favorite Aggie tradition. If they're not finished, they'll go back again to the category screen, pick a different category until they are finished. But let's just say they finished them all and they're going to go to this, what is your favorite Aggie tradition? Again, I set up a poll for this because I thought it would be interesting to see, given the class, what is the favorite tradition of the class. So I built that and routed it here, asking essentially, did you like this experience? Yes. If yes, then they're going to get routed to, do you want to learn about other Aggie traditions? If it's no, then they're going to get routed, please explain down here, and other is going to come down here as well. And then do you want to learn about other Aggie traditions? Yes or no, and it's going to get routed over here, which is the end experience, and it's just simply thanking them for learning about Aggie traditions and telling them I hope they enjoy their experience. So that is all for this one. How I built it, I went ahead and built all my scenes. I collected all my images that I wanted to put on here. And then once I was done building all the scenes, I went back and connected all the buttons and made sure, of course, that it worked. So that's that. And after I went through and I actually scanned the QR code and I thought, I think it meets the requirement for what I'm trying to do, but I really wanted a more interactive experience. So I actually built a second metaverse, and that's this one. It's a lot more fun and interactive. It took a while to do because there's so many different scenes that I used in this one, but it is a lot funner, I think. So I did, this was just a traditional scene, and just asking about the century tree. They'll answer the question. If they don't get it right, they'll be routed. They'll be asked if they want to try it again. Then the fish pond, the same thing here with Albritton Clock Tower. And then I asked them to take a picture or type your favorite Aggie tradition. So they have the choice to either type their answer or take a picture with their tradition. And so if they have to type their answer, it's going to be, this is that scene for that one. And then if they're going to take a picture, that's going to be down here. This is actually going to be saved to the wall, so I did this function and use this block so they can go to the wall. And you can see there's a couple that I put on there, like Aggie Band, Aggie Football. And of course, when you're looking at that experience, the wall actually shows up and it does show pictures. So then it'll be routed to the Aggie Warham, and there'll be, I was hoping to be able to put music to this, but I couldn't figure that out. I'm still working on that. I've watched some YouTube videos on how to do that, but for some reason I can't get the music or the voice to add on that. But I was really wanting to do what is your favorite, the Aggie Warham or Spirit of Aggie Land, which you can see here. I did a poll on that. So I'm really hoping that I can get that fixed before the fall semester. Um, I have a metaverse guru, I feel like, in my office that I work with, so I'm going to ask that person if they know how to add it. And so then, what is your favorite Aggie term or phrase? And I chose 4 of the Aggie terminologies from the last metaverse that I showed you. And again, that's going to be recorded and as a poll. And then let me see here, list 2 Aggie traditions that were shown in this experience. So just a little bit of testing their knowledge, like what did they learn from this? And you can see that I have another, this is a media wall actually, so it's going to tell us what the students learned. And then, did you like this experience? Yes or no? And I used a simple poll for that one, just to keep students engaged and make it be an interactive experience. And so then it's just as simple. I hope you enjoyed this experience, and then they will hit end experience, and that ends it for the experience. So I hope you enjoyed this little video and got some insight on the metaverses that I created. And I think moving forward, I think this second metaverse is really what I was trying to, like the experience that I was trying to give to my freshman experience class. I think I might work with the backgrounds a little bit more. I'm not completely happy with those, but this is what I have so far, and I felt like it was enough for this project. So I hope you enjoy the experiences. I'm going to put the QR codes on the Google Doc. Feel free to scan them and try my metaverses out yourself. Thank you and have a great night.